So the notes were off, right? Because, I mean, God forbid they be fucking good. They said that, what was it? Basically, customer couldn't get apps to work properly, reset TV, reinstalled apps, still not working. Okay, it sounds like the apps on the built into the television aren't working, so they need to get them redone, right? Or like something's wrong, right?
Right.
Out of memory or whatever happens to be, because it happens. I get there, I say, all right, so what's the problem? Turns out that whenever they play anything in 4K on a streaming service, the picture goes gray. Like, it loses color.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like more possibly an HDMI issue.
Except for it's built in.
Oh, it's built in. Sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I thought the same thing, and then it dawned on me, wait, you can't do an HDMI cable for built-in apps. That doesn't know how it works.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's look at it. They were watching DirecTV, and I was like, well, this doesn't... I looked at it, I was like, you guys don't have 4K on this. They're like, we don't pay for 4K. It's only when they use streaming apps, like Netflix and Prime Video. Okay, let's go look at it. So I look at it. If you let, like on Netflix, like Netflix on the newer version of the app, if you let it sit on something, it'll play like a trailer or like a clip or whatever. So it plays, and it's fine. Fully color, looks good for how big it is. You select play on something 4K, it loads up, image is grayed out. It's an image, but all the colors like sapped out of it.
Right.
But what was weird was the menu, like the play bar at the bottom of Netflix is red, and it shows as red.
Right, so it's not like the whole image is being grayed out. It's literally just the video that's streaming.
Yep. So I checked. So I backed out of that, went to Amazon Prime, did the exact same thing. And if you pull up the X-ray view on Amazon Prime, the pictures that come up are fully colored, everything, but the video is not. So I was like, okay, confusion.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let's go look at the settings. Something is wrong with the settings because everything else looks fine.
Yeah.
DirecTV plays fine. The non 4K like 1080p stuff plays fine. And the autoplay trailer of 4K stuff plays fine.
Okay. The only thing I can think of is like maybe some sort of like weird color setting specifically for 4K. Like it's got to be like a setting that as soon as you start playing 4K video, it switches to like a vivid type of mode.
You're
but
close.
It's not vivid. It's color. It's color. It's 1940s.
So you are
50s.
on the right track. So if you know a little, some zero. Is that cherry?
It is cherry.
Yeah,
I always have a hard time finding this stuff, but it's zero sugar cherry.
Yep, so good. So this is the crazy part. So it finally dawned on me what it was when I went back to Netflix. Because I realized it's not a setting in the app because it's where it does it on both. It has to be the
Right.
TV.
It's got to be the TV.
Then it dawned on me when I went back and I started playing the video. The HDR logo showed up from the TV and the image switched over.
Okay.
So someone in their whatever they were doing turned on the auto setting so it switches to whatever it thinks needs video mode, but someone had fucked with the settings of filmmaker mode and ramped up everything so it just became like this almost black and white gray image.
Yeah. Okay.
I reset it, went back to perfectly fine. It still looked like shit because filmmaker mode looks kind of garbage on most things. It's a little too dark. The colors aren't as good. So I put it on Vivid, and the customer's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, this is what it is. And I went and turned off the auto so it would never switch off of Vivid so they don't have to worry about it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. They're like, oh, we don't know. I'm like, yeah, it's, someone probably hit something or whatever. It's fine. It works. I'm out. So
that's good.
Yeah, it was very, it didn't dawn on me until the second time I went back to Netflix and I saw the HDR pop up and then the image, that's as soon as the image shows up, that HDR shows up and I was like, wait a minute. I know what this is. And I went and fixed it and I was like, all right, we good, dogs. I'm out. and they gave us little miniature cupcakes.
Aw.
Yeah, it was very nice of them. They were delicious
Very
too.
nice. I bet.
Anyhow, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much.
How's Tunic treating you?
Uh, very much like a Souls game. I suppose this would be my first Souls game. I've never actually played any other Souls game. I've been thinking about getting Elden Ring, although I might try and play through this first.
Makes sense.
I'm weirdly enjoying it, but also not enjoying it at the same time. You played through it a little bit. You said you stopped on the second boss. What is the second boss for you?
The second boss is the spider thing. It's in a temple that's on top of it's underground, but on a pyramid temple thing, and he shoots beams and shit like that. Cannot beat him.
So I am right there. That is where I am. I almost beat him. Like, I had him down to like maybe 2 more hits, and I died. And I haven't been able to get him back down to that yet.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's a fun game. I want to go back and play it right now, but it is very much like it will kill you in 2 hits. Like any given thing will kill you in like a couple of hits. Especially like God, the first boss, the Garden Warrior or whatever it was.
Yeah, Guardian something or other. Yeah.
I about threw my controller.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
With that one. God, that was so awful. Anyway, okay, so for those who don't know what Tunic is like if you took a Souls game and you took Legend of Zelda, they made love, and they would have something like this. Your character is a little fox that literally is just in a green tunic, much like the Legend of Zelda. You literally are on a quest to save something. I say something because you really are like, I literally started this game by just wanting to test out the streaming on my phone. I got a new iPhone 13 Pro Max. On my old 10 for Xbox Game Pass streaming, it sucked. So I was like, hey, let's try it on this, on my new phone. I'm just going to play Tunic because I've heard great things about Tunic. I'm going to try it on my phone, and it streams really well, but it just like drops you straight into the game. Like, menu, new game, drops you into it. Doesn't tell you anything about it. Now, I know going into Tunic that it is like I said, more of a Souls type game and a Legend of Zelda game combined. Excuse me. But that it does not hold your hand through anything. There is no tutorial whatsoever. Your tutorial, quote unquote, as it is to find pages, which, by the way, at first, I knew that you had a manual in the game, and things that I've read about the game, things that I've seen about the game, had said that you are supposed to read the manual to understand the game. But the thing is, you're not just given the manual.
Nope.
You have to collect the pages of the manual. That's
and they're not in order.
No one that I've read or watched videos of has ever explained that you collect the pages of the manual. Because you're supposed to use the manual for things like simple things, figuring out what things do. The fact that you can run after rolling by holding A. Now, it doesn't really tell you that because most of the language in this game is in whatever foreign game language that they're using.
Yep.
There are snippets of English here and there that will give you hints of what things are or tell you what things are, but then the rest of it may be in this other language. Yes, Cody?
So actually, a cool thing about that, if you haven't noticed it yet, once you figure out how to do something, it turns into English.
No, I hadn't figured that out.
Yeah. So I could be wrong, but I swear this happened because I got a page and it was all in that weird cryptic language or whatever, right? and I was looking at the pictures, and I did something like I think I turned in one of the little idol pieces at the wishing well thing to upgrade your powers, because that's how you do it, and no one, again, game doesn't tell you that. And all of a sudden, that shows up in English on there, like what it does. And I was like,
Okay.
did I not read that because my brain's dumb, or did that change to English? And I could be wrong, but I think that's what happens.
And it could be like I haven't paid attention enough to the actual wording to see if that is the case. I haven't caught on to that yet, because eventually I'll skim over what I see as English, and then the rest is just, it's obviously a foreign language to me. So I'll just look at the pictures and the big, you'd be like, hold A or something like that. Okay, hold A causes him to pray and things happen when he does that. Okay, cool. So yeah, so then you're just, that's it. Like, you just wander around, and it is, I think, a testament to how well the game is made that I didn't feel lost. There's only once so far that I felt like, okay, I honestly don't really know where I'm going. I'm just going to continue down this path. Like, it's really weird because it's an open world game, but I still feel like I have not gotten to a point where I am incredibly lost and have no idea what to do. As long as I keep going forward, I still manage to get to where I think I need to be.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to the game design on this. But yeah, man, there are just so many times that I've just been like, this is what a Souls game is like. I don't know if I can play Elden Ring. Like, this is just way too difficult. Maybe I'm not playing it right. God damn, excuse me. Maybe I have to go back into certain areas, because I have, at that point, at the point that I'm at right now, I guess unlocked. Maybe it had been unlocked before, and obviously I just find out about it now, is that I can teleport to different areas. In which case I did teleport to a different area, and I got this, like, tongue thing that I can hook shot to.
You found it?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I could not find that thing.
I'm exploring around, and I'm just going forward. And eventually a place starts looking familiar, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. This looks like that page in the book describing the frog people.
Yeah.
And I just kept going down, down, down. I'm like, this is the frog people. Okay. And there's all little hooks and stuff all over the place. And I'm like, all right, I have to be able to find this thing down here somewhere, is the hook shot. And after some exploring, I found it.
So jealous.
I don't know where necessarily I'm supposed to use it on any enemies. I tried using it on the spider bot thing. It does jack shit on that thing, so I don't know if there's a boss somewhere in there that I'm supposed to use it on. There was no boss at the end of that dungeon. You just beat up a bunch of the frogmen and then collect it, and that's it. That was the end of the dungeon. You leave it. Yeah. But that's where I'm at right now. I have, weirdly enough, that urge to actually go back and continue playing, and that's how I made it through the Garden Warrior or Garden Knight or whatever it was. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna play this. I have a little bit of a strategy that I'm going to use. I did admittedly look it up, and somebody was just like, oh, use this strategy where you kind of hold back and you pick your shots and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, okay, that took me way longer than I feel it should have in any normal game in order to get through the boss, but I eventually did get through it. And like I said, the spider guy, I'm literally just brute forcing. I'm just sticking in its goddamn face and shoving my sword down its goddamn throat at every chance that I get, and I almost beat it.
I just keep fucking dying. I cannot get it.
Beat it. He fucking squashed me with the last hit. I was like, Are you kidding me?
It's so frustrating, dude.
And then the next couple of playthroughs, like he just whips out that beam and just annihilates me right away. And I'm just like, well, fuck. I'm gonna quit here for now.
Yeah, like dude, it's so mad at that game because I just could not beat that. I had the same part with the Garden Guardian or whatever his fucking name is.
Garden Guardian, yeah, Garden Warrior or something.
Yeah, I got so frustrated because I would be comboing him and then he'd do fucking some area effect thing I couldn't get out of the way of or like whatever. I would just get hit, and because you run out of stamina of
It's
blocking.
one of the biggest things.
Yeah, so you then just take damage and it's amplified because you're tired. And I was like, fuck, dude. So I kept dying and it's so frustrating. And Paige was like, just stop for a little while. And I was like, all right, so you put it down and we did something else, watched a movie or something. And then like I picked it up later and then I started like, it's like, all right, take your time, just don't try to rush and brute force it. Just take your time, do your counters, blah, blah, blah. Because you can counter physical, you just can't counter like his beam weapons. So I was like, all right.
The parry system, I have done it once by accident.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Can you parry in this game?
Yeah,
like
I don't know how to do it.
Accidentally did it. I went and looked up how you're supposed to do it, and I cannot do it. Like, for some reason, I think it's just intentionally slow in the game that I feel like, because at least for me, I just tap the R button, just give it a little tap, and he, does the parry. But it seems like I tap it when I'm trying to use it, I tap it, and the reaction time that he has between the tap and the actual trying to parry is like a good 2 seconds. And by that time, I'm already hit. So it's like, God damn it. I can't get this right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it is a gorgeous game.
Yeah, it looks so cool. The art style is like this weird, like, mix of geometry and like realism, and like it's just cool because like the element, like part of the game is finding a way to explore stuff, and you realize you can go behind things that are in front of other things. You know what I mean? There's like a bush, but if you walk in a right direction, you can go behind it between something. And there's all those little things. Like there's parts where you can walk. If you're paying attention, you can see ground underwater you can walk on.
Yep.
You won't fall in. It won't let you fall in the water. It just, that's the physics.
You can actually walk through the water because you can't walk through the water. Your character doesn't swim.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find those areas where it's like just a little bit of a beach that's underwater, and you can walk on those sections.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like there's so many times that I've just been like, well, that looks like something I might be able to walk behind. Can I walk behind that? And I just like run behind it, and you just see a silhouette of the little fox just go back, and then you're just like stumbling around looking for something that says A, to open or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't move the camera around; it's always in the same spot. But yeah, it's all about obfuscation of the object which you're trying to get behind or whatever. So yeah, I'm always trying to like walk against objects to try to go behind something, or like, is there? Because there's this one area when you're headed to go get the sword. I kept calling it the master sword, but whatever. And there's this one. Right, you go around the side. Well, I say this, but it's this way. And there's some bad guys up top, and you can climb up this one and go and kill these dudes and go this way. And there's some treasure and stuff. I could not figure out how to get to these guys once I had the sword. I was like, man, how do I get to these dudes? I don't see a bridge or anything. And I realized the two walls are separated enough where the front, the one closest to the camera is more forward, so it looks like it's a solid piece, but you could walk behind it and there's a ramp.
Yeah.
And I was like,
right?
So dumb. And then like, and that was early on in the game, right? Because like the whole thing is like you're making your way to go find the sword for the first time. You're like, hero's grave this way and blah blah blah. So you're going that way, and then eventually you find it, and you're like, I can cut through bushes.
Oh my God, I thought those were boulders. I was like, when am I going to get those bracelets to actually push the boulders out of the way? And then I get the sword, and I was like, swipe. those are bushes.
Those
and
are
I'm just
bushes.
like, mowing down everything left and right. I'm like, I'm Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you just don't get any rupees or anything out of it.
I will smash pots though. I will like anything. I'm like broken, mine. Yeah, I will do anything and everything to get with whatever I can. Yeah, it's like a fun game, and I was the same way. I was like, it's this weird thing of like the game teaches you how to play the game by accident, and then when I first found one of the first manuals, I was like, how do I fucking read this nonsense? I was like, okay, press B. Oh, that's the thing with the stuff. Okay, and then this, but okay. What does this do? Oh, and then you start playing with stuff. And then I got the page that did the whole, like, hold down A thing, right? And I was like, all right, cool. He sits there, prays for a minute, and he gets his stamina back. What good does that do? And then I looked at it again, and it was in front of an object, and I was like...
I've seen one of those before.
Yeah, well, I ran over there, and I was like, and it activated or whatever, and I was like, oh, my God, it's a teleport. And you go to that, like, area where you can run through and it has like the bridge and stuff, and I was like, and they coordinate to where they are on the map to, oh my God, I was like, all right, and then I found myself on this beach area that I couldn't get to. Well, I thought I couldn't get to because I couldn't get across the bridge yet because I don't have the tonguey thing, but then if you use the teleport you can get there, or if you go along the beach you can actually go underneath the bridge and then behind it. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. Stupid.
The geometry, like the isometric view, will fuck you up sometimes, though.
Yeah.
I walk into a room and I see a page, and I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, I have to go down to get that page. I'm gonna have to fight all those guys over there. So I fight all the guys. I get over there. I get to the page, and I go, why is the A prompt not coming up? Oh, it's upstairs.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's not next to me. It's above me.
It's above me. So I go all the way back to where I was, where I entered into that area. It wasn't a very... I make it sound like I went, like halfway across the map in order to get...
Now you went 2 rooms over
back
the left.
upstairs, when it was just like in another room upstairs and then back to that room. But it was just like, man, isometric fucked me up right there.
Yeah.
Fuck, there was something else I was going to say. Did you find the... So you've found at least one of the heroes' graves?
Yeah, you find the sword. And
Yep.
the shield?
Next time, if you ever play again, do the pray in front of it. I was just like, what if I do this in front of random statues and stuff like that? Sometimes shit will happen.
Oh. Yeah, because
I still don't know.
I can't open any of those doors yet.
I haven't been able to open any of those doors yet either. I don't know if because you're talking about like those ornate doors that have like they're like, I think, gold.
Yeah.
Usually.
And there's like a little
like
like crystal symbol above it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, I haven't tried praying in front of
I did. It does not work.
It does not work. Okay.
Because you have the little idle things that link the power from the bell towers, or they're called bell towers, right?
They're the giant tuning forks, essentially.
Yeah. I think they call them bell towers. Whatever.
I think they did call them bell towers.
So if you find those, you can pray at them, and it links the power to them. Because later on in another mission area, you have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
And so you can unlock stuff and blah blah blah, right? So I was like, okay, and I started trying to remember all the ones I saw on there. I was looking at the map, well, part of the map they give you, and I was like, oh, there's one here. So I'd go over there and do it, and then blah blah blah. Because like a lot of them will like unlock an opening you can use to get to another area you couldn't to before. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go over there, do this one, that one, use the teleport thing to try to find my way over to this one, blah blah blah. But the doors I could not do anything with, and I was like, do I have to pray harder, longer, faster? What is it? Like, so I ran at the door and prayed? I was like, no. I looked away from the door and I prayed? Nothing. I was like, what if I look sort of side-eyed at it and pray? No, nothing? I was like, okay, I don't know how to fucking open these doors. So I've given up on those. But I did not pray at the grave site. I pray, obviously you can pray at the statue lady that you save at, and it can replenish you. What else did the teleport thing, the power thing. And like I think that's the only thing I've figured out.
Those are the only things I figured out too.
But yeah, I figured out I got the prey thing so late, like the page, or no, I should say, hold on. I finally figured out what I was reading on that page, and I was like, oh, because I read it as like you sit there, you pray, you rebuild your stamina, so you can then do whatever, right? Or your stamina or whatever. What do you regain? Your stamina, right?
Your stamina you regain over time anyway.
Yeah, but you can regain it faster if you pray or whatever.
Okay.
And then it showed him in front of that thing or on that the teleport pad, and I was like, that, because I kept telling Paige like these are for something. I have to unlock something to use these. And I thought it was
like end game. I was like, oh, I figured this out. I'm almost done with this game.
Yeah, dude. No, and it's yeah, bro. I was so mad because like when you enter a new area, all the enemies come back.
Yes.
Which sucks. But then I found out there's
certain enemies, yeah.
Yeah, but then I found out there's a shortcut for the Guardian where you don't have to walk over the bridge. It's actually underneath once you drop again, obfuscated from the view. There's a rope you drop where you can climb up and get to them right away, so you can go around those enemies. I was like, oh, okay.
I will absolutely say that as difficult as this game is, because you're right, every time you respawn or you go and save at one of those save shrines, all the enemies in the area respawn, and I hate that. It's better in this game. I'll compare it to something like what was it, Fallen Order? Yeah, where you leave an area and come back, and the enemies respawn, which was fucking annoying because I didn't realize sometimes you were leaving an area. Oh shit! I wanted to go finish exploring that area, come back, and there's all the enemies have shown up again that I have to defeat in the area. So at least it's better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time it's like, okay, do I save? Like, man, I've made a lot of progress here. Do I save and risk and have all the enemies come back, or do I keep exploring?
Because I want my magic powers back, but
Yeah, like I might be like low on health and health flasks or whatever you might call them.
Yeah.
And replenish those, or do I keep exploring? But at least I found that it is very forgiving. That you will find things like that. There's going to be a shrine close to a boss, and there's at least going to be some way that you can push a rope. So in the case of the Garden Warrior or Garden Knight or whatever it is, there's a rope that you can push over. That way, there's a shrine nearby. You can save there, and then you can just crawl up the rope and go right to the battle with the Garden Knight, and you can just skip the little battles, which are annoying mostly because there's a lot of enemies all at once. Any single enemy in this game isn't difficult. It's when they pack on like 3 or 4 enemies at a time, because I find that a lot of times an enemy may charge you and attack you, and you like put up your shield, and so your shield will protect you, but his momentum carries him through you.
Yeah.
So you may have all of the enemies attacking you from one direction, which is great. I can just sit there and block and hit my swing my sword, and I'll get 2 or 3 enemies at a time. But their attack will carry them through you, and now you have so many guys in front of you and guys behind you because they just carried on through you, and it just fucks you at that point.
Yeah.
Not in a good way, at least it's very forgiving in those instances where it's just like, okay, I push this rope here, and I can skip all of this. Like I did that in a little bit further. I think it was in the forest area, which made no sense to me. It was the forest, if I recall right.
Oh, the one
that
one with is that the one with the spiders?
Yeah, it was the one with the spiders.
Yeah.
You have the save shrine at the beginning, and then I go into the cave and I fight my way all the way through to a dungeon area, and I knock over the rope there. And at the time, I realized that, oh, okay, this is so I can get back in there if I die. And I went even further in, and there was no save point. And I died, and I was just like, ugh, I have to start all the way outside again. Fuck this, I'm done for tonight. I came back today, and I was like, man, I have to fight my way all the way through the dungeon again. No, I don't, because I was able to drop that rope, and the rope saves. Like, even though I didn't save,
Yeah.
the rope is still there, still dropped. I was like, oh, thank God, I can just skip all of that bullshit. So it's very forgiving in that sense. But then in another sense, it's not very forgiving at all, because every treasure chest that you find, once you find it, once you've opened it,
Yours.
it's opened.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done. You can die, respawn, it's done. It's not going to be anything in there again. So you have consumable items, bombs, spicy peppers, freeze bombs. I forgot what the fireworks are, just like little explosions.
Yeah.
Anything that you collect out of those treasure chests like that, or that you buy from the fucking giant skeleton box vendor, which was like, what the fuck?
Terrifying.
When I first saw it, is gone. If you use it in that run, you die, you respawn, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
So you really kind of have to pick those things very carefully on where you use them.
Yeah.
I do find it funny, like, going back to the whole fact that it doesn't tell you what things do. Like, I encountered that fox vendor, and I was like, ooh, he's selling me two things. He's selling me what looks like another bottle, health bottle, which I have one. So if I buy that, does it go away because I already have one? So I'm going to buy the other thing. And then I go through and I collect bottle shards.
Yep.
And then I realize, like, oh, that was a heart. Oh, fuck.
It's a heart container.
That was a heart container. Yeah, I was like, fuck, I should have bought that. Like, I'm deeper into that section of the game where, like, it would have helped me out. And I was just like, fuck, I should have done that. I should have bought that. I eventually came back around and bought it. And then I find out in another area you can buy like more from that Fox Spectre thing.
Yeah.
And if you keep going back to him, once you've bought and everything, he has like a whole different set of stuff.
Yeah. Expands it.
But it's fun to semi-try, like, you just try out what you get. Like, I got I think they call it the effigy, which is just like the fox head. And I'm like, what the fuck does this thing do? And it just smash it on the ground and get rupees. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't even really have to collect those. I can just grab it, smash it, and I get rupees out of it. Cool. That's a little weird, but whatever. Then I get this, like, full-on fox doll. And I was like, what the fuck does this do? So I activate it, and he just has like a Metal Gear Solid image hologram that just runs ahead of him. And it's like, cool. So it's a distraction thing. Oh, I used that up. Fuck.
Yep.
Well, I guess the next time I get it, I know what it'll do. Yeah, I get the coin. And I was like, well, I suppose I can just, like, try and use the coin anywhere. And then it dawns on me, I was like, or I could throw it down a well. And so I walk up to the well and I throw it in the well, and an achievement pops that says, congratulations on getting nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. Got an achievement out of it, I guess.
Don't let it fool you.
Yeah, because now every time I go up to a well, it says something won. So I'm like, okay, there's something a little bit more to this.
Yep.
Like, and I've seen the coin. The next time I encountered the shopkeep, he's selling one of the coins, and I was like, I bet if I buy that and throw it into another well, it would probably go up to 2.
Yep.
So there probably is something more to it than that. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the game. Like I said, I'm exactly where you at right now, minus the hook shot that I have.
Which now I need to go find if I go back and play it.
Yeah. So I'm at that Spider Temple thing. I almost beat it. I think I need a new controller. Well, I know I need a new controller. I have the original Xbox Elite controller. The thumbsticks are almost worn down to the actual plastic, gray plastic underneath of it. Like the left stick, if I showed you, has the complete top. Like I shouldn't say the top, but like the up side is almost completely worn off. And in fact, when I got done playing today, I was like, "Oh my god, is my thumb black and blue?" Oh no, that's just residue from the thumbstick on my thumb. I was like, "Ugh, gross," and I went and washed my hands. That's how old and just worn out my controller is, and
Sounds
how
about
much
right.
I like was just mashing like up on the thumbstick, just trying to fucking ram myself into that spider's face in order to kill it. But it's a good game. I would definitely say if you like Souls games, if you like Legend of Zelda games, and you don't mind having nothing telling you what to do, you just go into the game and you play it, and you read the manual when you get the pages. It seems like a really fun game. So that's where I'm at right now. I kind of wanted to pick up Elden Ring because I finished Guardians of the Galaxy, which I actually really did enjoy. If you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, if you're a fan of comics, I think you'd really like Guardians of the Galaxy. It is not the movie. It's not anything that has to do with the MCU. It is its own gaming thing, and it is firmly in the comic book world. There were references in it that I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's something in the comic book in the Marvel comic book universe that makes sense to somebody. Some nerd out there is laughing at this. I may not, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was actually a really fun game by the end of it. A little bit difficulty, some difficulty spikes at times, but I think that's just because, like, they would say, the characters in it would be like, we need to do this, and I was like, okay, I know what that is, but it's in the middle of a battle. I'm being shot up, and what I think needs to happen is not working. What the fuck? And then I figure it out, and I go, okay, that was just stupid. But that was also a good game. Anyway, so that's Tunic for me.
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, no, Tunic's a fun game. It's just that boss was so frustrating because I just could, I just could not get enough
Right? It seems
damage
like
on him.
there's something that I'm missing. Like
Yeah,
there's still just something I'm missing. It's not even a matter of like reading his tells on what moves he's going to use next. It just seems like, okay, I'm not strong enough. I don't have enough defense. I don't have a high enough attack, or there's some thing that I'm missing that would make this boss fight a lot easier. That's why I went back and I got the hook shot. I was like, because he's got a little dangly thing on his abdomen or his balls or whatever, that when he rears up, it looks like a lantern. And I'm like, I wonder if I can hook shot that. No, you can't hook shot that.
no, you can do damage to it though.
You can do damage to it, yes. But I was thinking in my brain head that if I got the hook shot,
Stunning him or
because
something.
that it like stuns him or pulls it out or something, and allows me to hit him, for massive damage or something like that. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, I guess just get good or just force it. Like I said, I almost beat him. I was maybe one or two hits away before he fucking just smashed me.
Yeah, I keep thinking there's a way to, because he shits out the little rune fucking miniature fucking
Yeah, the
laser
drums.
shooters. I was thinking there's got to be a way to, like, because you can parry their attacks and back at him. I was wondering if you could like, parry that at him to like freeze him or do damage, but you can't. There's nothing to protect you long enough to get them in an angle to hit them without him just fucking annihilating you. And I
Or
was
like
just
the fucking bombs that he throws out at you, the three
Yeah.
bombs that home in on you. It's like I have to be able to like parry those things or do something like grab them and throw them back. But yeah, so far nothing.
yeah. I was like, ugh, so frustrating. But yeah, I got to the point where I was getting ready to throw a controller across the room. I was like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's
Let's not
let's
Eric
just
Munger this.
Yep. I'm not gonna have an impression of a Xbox controller on my wall. Eric Munger. But yeah, no, it is a fun game. It's gorgeous. It's adorable. But at first it was frustratingly fun, and then it just got to the point where like I could not, like I was like, I can't beat this fucking boss, and it's gonna make me angry. I almost Cuphead like delete this game.
Right.
like just like
Because
so.
unfortunately, it's not like an XP style game. It's not like I can just, I just need to go beat up a bunch of little guys or something like that and gain XP, or like the Souls games where I beat up a bunch of little guys, I collect the souls, and then I can go to a bonfire, and then I can spend the souls to make myself better. Unfortunately, no. You have to find certain ingredients in order to up your attack, in order to up your defense. And those things so far, as I'm aware, can only either be found in chests, which again they don't respawn once you've gotten it, you got it, or you can buy them from vendors. But it also costs you money. Not only if you do that, you're using money to buy them from the vendor, but it costs you money in order to upgrade yourself at the shrines
With those things.
So it's a lot of times it's not very expensive. It's 100, 200 and something gold. But some of the other things like SP, I can't remember what SP was. Like I can upgrade my SP right now, but it costs 400 gold. And it's like, do I really want to spend 400 gold on this? Or would I rather save that for the next time that I encounter the vendor that I can buy another health flask?
I think that's stamina power.
That's stamina power?
Yeah, because
that makes sense, actually.
There's
SP,
health, stamina power, and because there's health power, stamina power, and magic power.
Yeah, that sounds. There's attack. You forgot attack. Yeah,
attack,
but otherwise Otherwise, you're right. And that is one of my lowest, which would make sense of why I suck at stamina.
Yeah.
Maybe I should upgrade my stamina. Maybe I would have been able to beat that boss.
You can do more blocking with it, but again, once you run out of block, you take more damage, and you slow down. You can't run, you can't roll because you're out of stamina. So it's basically, and the whole thing is that when you're rolling, you're invulnerable, from what I read in the manual.
Which feels like bullshit to me, because during the Guardian Knight fight, I was like, because in the manual it says, as long as you see dust, you're invulnerable. And I'm like, I'm seeing dust like a motherfucker, and yet this dude is smashing my little foxy brains in.
Yeah, dude, he is straight up just murder deathing you every turn of the fucking roll. You're like, oh yeah, how am I taking damage?
Right?
And you can't really roll more than once.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to roll, then it takes a second, and you can roll again, but then your stamina just goes dook, 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 and you're like, I'm dead, because it hits you, and then you stagger back. He hits you again, you stagger back, and I'm like, please God, just fall off this fucking cliff and die already, so I can restart this fucking fight.
I will say about this game, the one thing that it frustrates me the most is that they tie the running mechanic into the rolling mechanic. So you can't just click an analog stick and run. You have to roll and hold and then run.
Yeah, you have to remember to not just double tap it and then let go. You have to double tap it and then hold it on that second one, so when he pops out of his roll, he's running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Just let me hold down A. But then he prays. I'm like, well,
or let me just hit the analog stick, just click it and go, and just run, like a lot of other games. I will say, too, and maybe there's a way to change it in the controls. I swear to God, it feels like every other game makes B the roll.
Yeah.
And this is A. So there's been way too many times where I'm like, dodge. Why are you not dodging? Oh, it's because I'm hitting B. I'm using up whatever is in my B slot.
Yeah, because X, Y, and B are items.
Yeah.
And then X is also...
Well, X is like, I map X to attack.
Yeah.
So that's my sword and everything. But you use A for everything else. You use A to activate things. You use A to roll. You use A hold to run. You use hold A to pray. And so I just wish that they would have taken the run mechanic and just pulled that off to left click stick, so I can just click run.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, because that was my strategy for the first boss fight. I was like, what if I run around the boss arena, because it costs you a little bit of stamina in the initial roll, but running costs you no stamina whatsoever. So I figured I could do that and run. But for some reason, he would roll and not run.
Because fuck your strategy, Joe.
In that boss fight. Now, I know that, like, you can't Z target and run.
Yeah.
But I was literally just, okay, let's not Z target. I, like, for a couple of fights there, I was like, I'm not going to Z target this guy at all. I'm just going to run around the battlefield and try and fight him that way. And it didn't work at all.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah. So with all that said,
yep.
Are you caught up on Moon Knight?
I'm not. I have not watched this week's yet.
Okay.
Because work.
Fair enough.
I wanted to get done with work early today so I could come home and watch it so we could talk about it. Because it's Aaron and Justin's second episode they did. But I can't because I literally got home. I'm still wearing my work clothes and I'm talking to you.
I will say that it is an episode that is quintessentially something that I enjoy. So I really enjoyed this episode.
Okay, I think that's what I think I understood what you were saying, and I was like, wait, quintessentially enjoyed, is that a euphemism for I hate my life and I hope this show gets canceled and time travel's invented so they don't make it again?
No,
or did he enjoy
talk about that when we get to Halo, which is what I was going to ask you next. If you're actually caught up in Halo,
no.
Like I shouldn't say caught up because I'm not even caught up. The latest episode dropped today, and I haven't watched it yet. But I was wondering if you're at least caught up to episode 3.
I have watched. Yes, I've watched episode 3, which makes me 5. Is it on episode 5 or is it episode 4?
It should be on, I believe episode 4 dropped today.
Is it 4 today or was it 5 today?
I think it was 4 today.
Okay, keep talking. Go ahead.
Well, because episode 1 was obviously the introduction of Chief and the whole Quan in him. Episode 2 is he takes her to the asteroid field and then, turns himself in. Episode 3... Oh, now wait.
No, 5 dropped today.
5. Okay, so I'm on it. So I watched episode 4 then. Yeah,
I have not watched 4. I watched 3, which was the Cortana episode.
Yeah, the Cortana episode.
Which,
so I watched 4, which was last week's episode, and episode 5 dropped.
Because that's when he was headed back to his home planet, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
All I'll say is that there's so many frustrating things with this where it's like, okay, can we just get to Halo already?
Yeah, it's the name of the fucking show, and we haven't even fucking seen it yet.
And I guess, like, in some normal circumstances, I think I would be okay with that. Like, you're building stuff, you're building lore, and you're explaining how this universe works. But honestly, I really don't care about this universe. Like, everything that you've already showed me, I don't care about the UNSC. All of the leaders, as I've explained before, just feel like fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like, all of them. I don't know why you make all of them feel like assholes. And Halsey is just a I don't really want to say it, but just feels like a couple of notches below, like, a World War II Nazi villain, you know? With her eugenics program and this and that, like, she wants to build the perfect people, and it's like, okay, can we just turn that down a notch?
Yeah, it's very bizarre what they do with it.
It felt like half this last episode really revolved around Quan and her going back to, spoiler a little bit, her going back to the planet in order to try and rise up the resistance. And I'm like, I don't care about this. Can we just ditch this side of the storyline?
Yeah, makes no sense.
Like, it's not a dig on the actress at all. I think she's perfectly good for the role that she's playing. I just don't care for that story. Like, so far, it makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. And it probably might down the road, but I don't care. Like, there's nothing in it right now that makes me want to care about this story. I just want to get back to John and finish off that side of the story so that we can finally get to the Halo, finally get to the actual war with the Covenant and whatnot.
Which is what the show should be about, by the way.
Which is what the show should be about.
Not squishies fucking fighting over resources and power to give to the fucking Nazi UNMC or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real stupid. That's what frustrates me of the show. After I watched the 3rd episode, I was like, why are we focusing so much on people who aren't Spartans?
Yeah.
Like, why? They're fucking useless, and they proved that in the 1st episode when they got completely wiped out by 4.5 Covenant soldiers.
Yeah.
And then why did a brute have worms in it that she can control to kill things?
Which, by the way, they have not come back to explaining at all.
Awesome, cool. Good to know that my frustration is going to be answered in episode 4.
That whole sideline, that whole side story where you have the human that is with the Covenant, can speak Covenant, and it can actually control the whole wormy people. They ended that. Do you know where they ended that? She was on the ship, right?
Yeah, she was on the ship. She was trying to get the.
Okay.
She was trying to get him to tell her that where he comes from is Reach, but she doesn't know what Reach is.
Right.
And then she ends up killing him, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna go to where the artifact was, or something like that."
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. They haven't gone back to that story.
Good.
At all.
That's great.
Which I suppose is fine, I guess, because again, it's a side story that I don't care about and doesn't really make. I guess it makes sense within the story, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, again, it's just another side story that I don't care about at all. Like, I just want to get back to Master Chief. I want him to put his goddamn helmet back on and be like that most of the time. I don't care if he takes his helmet off every once in a while, but I want him to put it back on and just live like that most of the time. Because that's who he is from the game.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get that Chief really anymore because of something that he does. And I can't remember if he does it in one of the episodes that you watch, so that I don't really want to spoil it.
So he digs out the override?
Yes, he digs out the override. Yeah. Okay, so you have
which,
seen
by
that
the
part.
way, why is that in his
Why
lower
is it in
spine?
the base of the spine?
It's something controls in his brain, but it's at the bottom of his spine.
Yep, made no sense to me at all. It inhibits his emotions and whatnot. Okay, in his ass, because
no, just north of his ass.
His brain, like, I don't understand why that's there at the base of his spine.
Also,
no sense at all.
Also, it's just in him.
It's just in him. It's not attached to anything.
Yeah.
It's literally just a glowy fucking little mood football.
I would have been more okay if he total recalled and pulled a fucking glowing marble out of his nostril. I'd be like, that makes way more sense.
Right next to his brain.
Yeah, like it's just up here. Just you don't have a left left sinus. You just have a emotional inhibiting fucking orb. Cool.
Yes,
but no,
that's just implanted in the brain and shooting 5G directly into you, so that it actually deadens your emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's instead it's just north of his butthole, and somehow stops him from feeling not just emotion, but like emotional input.
Yeah.
But yet he somehow felt bad about Quan. I don't know. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. And it's very weird, bizarre to me. Cortana still makes no sense to me also, because like it didn't need to be a real person for them to just suck out the brain, which I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, why couldn't this have just been an advanced AI like it was in the game? Why did this have to take it to the next level of being a pseudo fucking Nazi, where you're like, no, we grew this person, we grew a clone of Halsey in a jar, and then now we have to suck out her brain and literally scramble it, because that's what they're doing. They're just fucking sticking the needle into her and just fucking scrambling our brains, sucking it out, and then injecting that into Master Chief, and we're just like, Cortana.
Yeah. So, were you creeped out by the assistant being all masturbatory?
Why did that have to happen,
Thank
too?
you.
That made no goddamn sense. I get that he might have a thing for Halsey, but goddamn, he was just like creeping on the clone of her, like almost kissing her as she was knocked out. I was like,
bro,
we need to calm down here.
Yeah, it was real unsettling.
A lot. Because that was unsettling and was totally unnecessary for anything.
Yeah, bro, I'm right there with you. I was like, this does not need to happen. I don't need to see this guy. Because I took a page, I was like, I guarantee you there's a deleted scene where this dude's just jerking off to the front of that pod.
Right?
And then it cuts, and you don't see him fucking just yanking his crank, but then you come back and he's wiping it down. You know what I mean? Because he finished on her face. But I'm like, why? What?
Why? Why do we need this?
Yeah, I was like, this makes no sense. Like he's creepy in general, and then that just brought him to the next level of, oh God. Because he's masturbated to that fucking pod when Halsey's not around.
Completely.
She goes on vacation, he's like, oh, jerk fest, and just fucking stalactites the shit out of that fucking pod.
Yeah.
Just glazes it. It's fucking Krispy Kreme glazed all over that fucking thing, and he has to spray it down before she gets back from vacay. And I'm like, why do we need this?
We don't. But for some reason, it's in it. Yeah. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's so many weird little things that they're not even world building shit. No. Because the whole human uprising things makes no fucking sense because they're just going to get slaughtered like they did before. So they can fight all they want together for some MacGuffin resource, but they're still going to get fucking annihilated by the space aliens who don't give two shits about your resources.
No.
Which, by the way, is opposite of what the game is about because they are going for resources.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this show.
I don't like a lot of aspects of this show, but then there are just little glimpses of something that I'm just like, well, okay, I kind of want to see where this is going in the next episode. Like, Schreiber puts the helmet back on. I'm like, okay, this looks like Master Chief. This is what I want. And then the episode ends of like, okay, I kind of want to see where this is going. But then, at the same time, I know where some of the aspects of this show are going, and I don't like it. I don't want it at all. Yeah,
I just look at it, I'm like, why are you doing this?
And that's why I keep saying this is not being picked up for a second season. I guarantee you.
No, this is the world's. This is right here. This is what's wrong with streaming services right now, where they will funnel money into something, but apparently not pay attention to anything it's doing.
Yeah, and which is unfortunate because what's going to happen is that they're going to cancel this after this season, and then they're going to be like, well, see, that's why we can't do a Halo show because no one's going to want to watch it. It's like,
you didn't make a Halo show.
You didn't make Halo. You set out from the beginning saying this is not Halo. This is Silver.
It's fan fiction,
Silver
dude.
Universe Halo, and it's like, yeah, because it's not Halo. I get it. There are certain things that you can't do in a show, which is why I comparing it to Cowboy Bebop, something that we've had more recently, which there was a lot of stuff that didn't work in Cowboy Bebop, but I felt as a whole was still pretty faithful to the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was a lot of changes to it, and there was a lot of stuff that I think that they could have done better, definitely. But I enjoyed that show. This, I want to enjoy the show.
But it's so not good.
But it's so not Halo.
Yeah, not at all. It's not Master Chief. It's not Master Chief Light. It's just, it's fucking like South Spine, Blue Aspirin, pansy ass Marine guy. Like,
yeah.
It makes no sense. I just don't understand. And like, it's this weird little like, why are you doing this thing? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we focusing on like You have one person working on Covenant stuff?
Right? Just one person. And then you block her out of the new artifact that you found.
Yeah.
Because your space Nazi Goebbels, I think that was Joseph Goebbels was the
that's the one that
Auschwitz and stuff like that, doing all the experiments and stuff like that. Wants to take over the science of it because she has her clones and her Spartan army and whatnot. But it would make no sense why you wouldn't give it to the person who's in the show says herself, I'm the one that should be looking at this because I'm the one that's been working on all this stuff. I invented this. I invented this. I invented this. Why the fuck am I not seeing this? And they're just like, because Space Goebbels wants it first.
Yeah. It's like, wait, hold on. She's the one that figured out how to get past the energy shields and give Master Chief and the other Spartans energy shields themselves. She's the one that figured out the language.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that figured out so we can, like, essentially space travel. But yet you don't give her fucking first crack at glowy rock?
Nah.
You get the fuck out of here. This is why no one likes you, and this is why you have to be space Nazis, because you're too fucking dumb to get out of your own goddamn way.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to like it, and I made myself watch episode 3, but when I got done with episode 3 and I had available episode 4, I was like, nah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'll watch it and have some time, but
I probably won't watch it. Oh, I definitely won't watch it tonight because by the time we're done, it's bedtime.
Yeah.
But I'll probably watch it tomorrow. I'll get home, make dinner, and I'll watch it. Because I want to like it. I want there to be a good Halo show.
Well, the problem, Joe, is they didn't make it, so we're not getting it.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, they're just going to cancel this, but
the final episode is going to show the Halo, and it's like
it's just like this Master Chief just wakes up and is just like, oh, I was staring at a snow globe. Why is that all weird and stuff? Let's go fucking do Halo stuff now.
General Hospital it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so bad because the fucking like $15 made web shows and movies were better written than this garbage. Because why? They focused on the actual war. Like Halo is a war-based game. So what do we get? Squishy people civil war.
Yeah.
And space Nazis.
Which again, I don't mind if they would have started pre-Fall of Reach, and explained why the Spartans exist. They exist for a really shitty reason, but then they ended up being the savior of mankind, essentially. And that's the dynamic that we should have got. You could have told a slightly different story getting there, but not a completely different story.
Yeah, like the fact we found a Forerunner artifact that we don't know what a Forerunner is just yet, but whatever. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's so convoluted and dumb, and like just a waste of a couple $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And like an IP, then we have to wait fucking 20 years for them to try to reboot.
Yeah, right.
Because they're like, well, no one wants it. We can't make a good video game show. You haven't made one yet because you keep fucking shit up.
Yep.
You idiots. Also, put co-op in Halo Infinite.
Also put co-op in Halo Infinite. Also, just put co-op in some other games. Let's CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk and
Tiny Tina says co-op.
I'm kind of angry about. Actually, I don't think there's rumors that they might not be putting co-op in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they're
anymore.
shit canning it, right?
Well, that it's one of those things where like the way that I believe was a CEO was talking about during an earnings meeting. I think he said that they're switching everything over to Unreal 5, which is great because Unreal 5, if you haven't watched any of the Unreal 5 engine demos, oh my god, that shit looks gorgeous. But they said that all of their multiplayer going forward will be built on Unreal 5 engine. And Cyberpunk was built on the Red engine, which is the engine that was built by CD Projekt Red to run their games.
Yep.
So it's one of those things. It's like, are they gonna somehow find a way to link a multiplayer into it using Unreal 5? Or does that literally mean that they're dumping it? And I'm probably assuming that they're going to dump it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms that we can open up, and I don't really want to right now.
Not right now, because we're going to wrap shit up, because I'm hungry as fuck.
I bet.
So that's it for this week's episode, everybody. This has been Comes Naturally, and we have been...
Joe.
I have been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.